Hello everyone and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am streaming to you live from beautiful Central Europe, Budapest. And today we are looking at the speaking section, specifically part 1, the general questions. We'll look at some strategies and we will do some practice together. Hi Kyber, hi Naima. Hi, Lucky, Smiley, Maloth, and Kaz, and Kala, and Begzad, our member. Hi, Marasa. Good to see so many students in class. Hi, Hung. There's another one of our members. Great to see you. All right, students. As usual, the materials, strategies come from our world-class websites to help students pass the exam. For the academic version, check us out at aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com, where we have tons of great IELTS materials and help for you. As well, we help students with their statement of purpose or statement of intent document for master's and doctorate studies and academic CVs. So check out those additional services on those websites. If you're studying for the general version of the test, check us out at gieltshelp.com or generalieltshelp.com. Just really quickly, those websites. Hi Vivek, hi Ferdovs. Those websites, they look like this. This is the academic website. It's responsive. It works on your phone or your tablet as well. You can click that big red button to get your My Student account. Once you're in your My Student account, you have access to all of our wonderful materials, including interactive practice exams, a full online course, curriculum books, workbooks that you can download, lesson videos, and much, much more. So definitely check that out. Same idea for the general version of the test. It's just the green background. Click that red button to join there. All right, students, if you have questions, comments, concerns, don't be shy. Send me an email, Adrian, that's my name, Adrian, at aehelp.com. Everybody who's watching and are regular students, a very, very important note today. I'll remind you in our next few classes as well. From June 16th to the 25th, I will be away in Italy on a trip. So there's no classes 15th to the 25th, okay, in these 9 or 10 days. We will not have classes 16th to the 25th of this month. I will continue with classes after the 25th when I get back. So continued on June 26th. I'll remind you of that a few times more before I go on that trip. This week, definitely classes, everyone. Thank you, Begzad, for wishing me a good trip. I appreciate that. This week we do have classes, so today we're kicking it off with speaking part 1 right now. Then tomorrow we will have a task 2 for our members and followed by a listening. We will complete the listening exam that we started last week. And then we will also do a task 1 for members, a reading for everyone, and then a speaking part 3 for everyone on Saturday as well. So we still have lots of classes this week. Definitely tune in. And then from the following week, I will be unavailable. All right, students. So speaking today, let's do lots of speaking. Copy what I say. Can anybody guess what kind of English I use? So what is my accent? If you know, don't say. Try to allow students who have no idea to guess just from my speaking so far. So what is my accent? And again, today it's speaking, so make sure to repeat lots in this class. Don't be shy, okay? To do well on the exam, to get those high band scores, you need to be confident. You need to have lots of confidence. Not quite an American accent. Kyber, I think you know that I'm Canadian, so you're somewhat on the right path. Yes, it's actually West Coast North American. I'll let you in on a little secret, viewers. A lot of people think that Canadians and Americans have different accents, and that's only half correct. Okay, I'll show you something interesting here. So just imagine that this is, just drew Alaska as well there for us, but this is North America more or less here. Okay, with Mexico down here. And then here's kind of USA and Canada. So when you think about accents, students, this is, we're getting into Alaska here, so I should draw a border there. So when you're thinking about accents, a good way to think about it, my accent is from here. It's from Vancouver Island, from Victoria. This is where you find Vancouver. Toronto on the other side here, of course, New York City on the other side as well. So when you're thinking about your North American English accents, okay, yes, Juan Pablo, Canada's landmass is bigger than US. We're a little bit bigger, but we have a lot of place up here that's cold and it's very difficult to live. So 80% of people in Canada live close to the border. Anyway, students, when you think of accents, so when you think of English in North America, a good way to think about it is West Coast North American. So people, actually, I should go all the way up here. So people who live on the western seaboard, we all kind of speak one type of English or one kind of accent. So when you speak to somebody in Vancouver, they will sound very similar to somebody in Seattle, San Francisco, even Los Angeles, okay? When you speak to somebody on the eastern seaboard, like New York or Toronto or even Miami, they will sound a lot more similar to each other. So we have kind of an East Coast North American accent. Then we have another accent in the northern central part of US and Canada. And then another accent that's very different in the southern Bible Belt of the United States. So that's just kind of something interesting when you're learning English and you're studying different kinds of, or hearing different kinds of accents. You have West Coast North American, East Coast North American, Central North American, and Southern US. Those are different accents, okay? It's a much clearer way to think about it than just thinking Canadian or American accent. Anybody know which ones are the easiest to listen to? So which ones are the easiest to understand and to use internationally? So which of these accents do you think that I just showed you from these four are the easiest to understand when you hear it or to use? Okay, Rasham, there's more than just American here. Yeah, so Sana says for me it's West Coast. Yeah, very good, Bagzod. Yeah, so Bagzod says West and East Coast. Yeah, I would say that West Coast and East Coast North American accents are the easiest English accents to understand internationally. So if you are a businessman or a student who plans to travel a lot in the world and you want people to understand your English, really focus on learning West Coast or East Coast North American English, because that will be the clearest for most people in the world to understand, okay? It's clearer than British, it's clearer than Australian or Southern US or Central Canadian, okay? So West Coast, East Coast, North American accent, arguably the clearest accents for English in the world, okay? So those are good to learn. All right, students, so that's a little bit about accents and geography. Again, my accent is West Coast. I'm from Victoria, which is capital city of British Columbia in Canada. And so it's a fairly clear accent. So again, it's a good one to repeat, not to blow my own horn, but it's a good accent to practice, to learn. All right. All right, so let's get into our speaking. Now, we are in the speaking exam. We're confident, we're loud, we're clear. The exam is recorded. If you disagree with your mark, you can ask the IELTS to have it remarked. It costs money, but you can ask for that. If they are going to remark your speaking, they need to use the recording that they record, okay? And so it has to be loud and clear. If you talk quietly like this and they can't hear what you're saying on the recording, guess what happens? They're not going to give you a mark, and you just wasted your money to try to get your score increased. So it doesn't work that way. So speak loud. All right? So speak loud and clear. I wonder if you even heard me there. All right. Okay, so loud, clear, use your body language, okay? Don't cross your arms. Don't put weight on your chest, okay? Breathe. Yep, stay confident. Think about the examiner as your grandmother or your grandfather. They don't know what you're talking about. Speak in full sentences, okay? All right, so let's get into it. Now, the examiner for part one will try to make you feel comfortable. They will ask you some questions on a general topic. So here we go with part one, a couple of warm-up questions. What is your full name? Let's get going. So what is your full name? Please give me a nice answer for this, students. And always practice saying this nice and loud. Have a couple of different ways to express yourself so you sound natural and fluent. What is your full name? Okay. Hi, Mariko. All right. Begzod says, my given name is Begzod and my surname is Suyanov. Please just call me Begzod. That works. Murasa says, my given name is Murasa and my family name is Baraki. Please address me by my nickname, which is Mary. That's good. Marasa, now that's long-winded, which means it's a long sentence. So make sure you say that very fluently when you say it, okay? So the examiner doesn't interrupt you or say, oh, what is your full name? Okay. Leonardo Lobo says, my full name is Leonardo Hirsch. My given name is Leo. Please just call me Leo. Okay, that works. Leonardo, simplify that. So you should say, my full name is Leonardo Hirsch. Please call me Leo. Okay? So simplify it. My given name is Leo. Please just call me Leo. It's over-speaking. Don't over-speak in the exam. So just say, please just call me Leo. Okay? Hung says, my family name is Tsai and my given name is Sheng Hung. Just call me Hung. Okay, that works. Sure. Yeah, so my full name, as you will see in both my registration and passport, is Peter Smith. Please call me by my nickname, Pete. All right. So the IELTS examiner, they are matching your name on your passport with the marking sheet, their registration paper as well. And that's why you can say this. So you can actually use a correlative conjunction, both and, right away, even for this first question. It's another way to show your higher level of English skill. So repeat after me. My full name, as you will see in both my registration and passport, is Peter Smith. Please call me by my nickname, Pete. Okay? Now say that politely. Don't sound arrogant. Okay? But they will look at that, and they'll probably even say thank you for confirming that. So don't be surprised if after this you hear the examiner say something like, thanks for confirming that. Okay? All right. So that's one way that you can do it. And then another question usually will follow. This one is very typical. Do you work or study? Okay. Yes, Sana, you could. Do you work or do you study? Again, have a couple of really nice ways to answer that question because that's a very common icebreaker question and you should be able to express that idea anyway. Okay. All right. Patricio says, not only am I working as a professor at the University of La Plata, but also studying English to get my Australian visa. Very good, Patricio. And again, nice use of a conjunction there of not only, but also. So good for you. Okay. So not only am I working as a professor at the University of La Plata, but also studying English to get my Australian visa. That's good, Patricio. It works. It's nice. Okay. Satisfying times. It says, currently I'm working. I have finished my studies about 4 years ago, and now I'm in a government job for the past 6 years. Satisfying times. Notice how you said that you finished your studies 4 years ago and you're in a government job for 6 years. So does that mean that you were already working for the government in your last 2 years of studies? Make sure that you have clarity in the information when you communicate. If not, you'd want to say that, right? So you want to say, currently I'm working, I finished my studies 4 years ago in political science, and now I'm working in a government job for the past 6 years, which I did in my last 2 years of study as well. So I would include that to make it clear and get a high band score. Okay? All right. Ferdovs says, currently I'm working as an account manager full-time, and I like my job. Okay. Ferdovs, yeah, just careful not to go off topic. I didn't ask if you like your job or not. I'm just asking you whether you're working or you're studying. Okay. So sure, you can say something like, yes, currently I'm not only working as a linguistics professor at the University of British Columbia, but also I am studying Spanish as I plan to travel Central America this coming fall. Okay, so kind of taking a mix of some of the responses given by students. Again, repeat after me, students. So repeat after me. Nice and fluent. Do you work or study? Yep. Currently, I'm not only working as a linguistics professor at the University of British Columbia, but also I am studying Spanish as I plan to travel to Central America this coming fall. Just do a slight correction there. Currently. All right, add that too. There we go. Good. So here, students, look what I did to make my language complex, clear as well. I used the not only but also, just like Patricio. That's called a correlative conjunction. We use it to emphasize or strengthen the message of our ideas. So make sure to practice that. And I used a coordinating conjunction as well, the as. So as here showing cause and effect. So why am I studying Spanish? Because I plan to travel to Central America this coming fall. Now, the trick to the high band scores in the speaking is to find that perfect amount of information which allows the examiner to give you a high mark. So not over speaking and making mistakes and going off topic, and not under speaking whereby the examiner doesn't know how good or how well you can speak. Okay? So you need to find that happy middle ground, all right? Make sure that you answer, explain, and include an example. Any questions so far about the speaking section, or especially about speaking part 1? So any questions? I want to give you a chance to express your queries and your ideas. So any questions about the speaking section, specifically speaking part 1? Sianu Tapa says, what do I say if I'm not working? Sianu, that's a good question. So a couple of things you can say. Here's a nice expression. Okay, so this is Sianu's question. Sianu is asking, what should I say if I'm not working right now? You can say something like this, Sianu. You can say, currently, I'm between jobs, and I'm actively seeking employment. I hope to find a position in electrical engineering at a reputable firm. Okay, so that would be one way to approach that, where you're giving more than just saying, I don't have a job. Okay, I don't have a job. It's not a bad answer, but it's hard to get a high band score with simple answers like that. So try to always be a little bit more creative. Again, so if you don't have a job and you want to say a different idea about that, repeat after me. Currently, I'm between jobs and I'm actively seeking employment. I hope to find a position in electrical engineering as a reputable firm. This is also why I'm studying IELTS, so I can apply to jobs internationally. Okay, you can say that. Hopefully that answers your question. Christian Perez Ortiz says, I'm struggling to say the word architect. Architect. Okay, that's a statement, Christian, but I'll take that as a question. So what can you do to say the word architect? Architect. Okay. So a couple of different ways to help your pronunciation and your accent, students, is, of course, you can now use Google Voice online. That is a West Coast North American English, usually, that you will hear. So if you type the word architect, Christian, into Google, you type architect definition, Google will give you the sound as well. So you can say architect. Now, Christian, if you're having trouble actually forming the words, right, architect, then you can practice phonetics. Okay? So, students, for those of you who are having difficulty forming certain sounds in English, okay, you can do different tongue and mouth exercises, and you can find a lot of this information online on how to move the tongue, how to move the mouth, the jaw, and what you can do to improve articulating sounds. So if you have difficulties with pronunciation, search for this, okay? Articulating English sounds exercises, all right? Also, you can search for English phonetics. Okay, so articulating English sounds, exercises, English phonetics, search, where I'm going to use one of our most modern verbs, Google. I love it. These terms, okay? And you will find some very interesting websites to help you with that. So very good question, Christian. The word is architect. Architect. I'll show you how my mouth moves there. Architect. Okay, that's the movement of the mouth with a tongue inflection, deflection. Okay. All right. So I'll take some more. I'll take some more questions a little bit later. Let's go back to some practice. Okay. Here we go. So. Let's skip that one. Let's go here. So now the examiner will go into some general questions. So they'll say now for part one, or to continue with part one, I will ask you some more questions on a general topic. Let's talk about transportation. Let's talk about transportation. Okay, so here you should right away start thinking public transportation, private transportation, taxis, buses, trains, and all of those different vehicles we use to get from point A to point B. What's the verb for traveling to school or to work and back? What's the verb? Here's just a quick pop quiz. What is the verb for regular travel to and fro school or work? That's right, Junior Rodriguez. Good for you. You get my super thumbs up. Commute. Yeah, it's commute. Good job. All right. So here we go. First question. Do you know how to drive a car? Do you know how to drive a car? Give me a nice full sentence answer for the question of do you know how to drive a car? Shivjit, Sandhu, yes is not enough for me to give you a band 9. If you say yes, then I know you have good comprehension. But that's the listening set. That's what the listening section's for. The listening section in the exam tests your comprehension, not the speaking section. So if you just say yes, I know that you can understand the question, but it's still not good communication or strong English communication. So you need to say more. Ken Idris says, yes, I know how to drive a car. That's okay. That's an okay answer. Lucky Smiley, no, not probably is not correct English. Muammer Guksun, of course, yes, is still a little bit less. Saif Gongi, that's a good answer. Saif says, yes, I do. I have had a license since 2007. Yeah, so that's a much more powerful answer by Saif. I'm going to take that, Saif. Thank you. Why is that a more powerful answer? Yes, I do. I have had a Class 6 driver's license since 2007. Whoops. And in fact, I'm even going to turbo it up a little bit, Saif. And in fact, I truly enjoy operating a vehicle. Okay, so, but even if we just stop in the first part here that Saif said, it's perfect. It's a band 9. So, yes, I do. I have had a Class 6 driver's license since 2007. Why is that a good answer, students? So, why is Saif's answer a band 9 answer? If I'm the examiner, why can I now give Saif a band 9 if his pronunciation and his fluency are good, then I can check off a couple of boxes. What can I do? Why? As the examiner, what can I do? Why can I give him a good mark there? So Patricio says it's quite descriptive. Yeah, that's true. Amiel Raphael says used present progressive. It's not present progressive. It's present perfect, right? So I have had is present perfect. Okay. Now here is a good question. Why is safe using present perfect in this answer? So a high-level English speaker will often use present perfect to answer this question. Do you know how to drive a car? And they'll say, yes, I have had a Class 6 driver's license since 2007. So why use a present perfect in that? Juan Pablo says, because, well, he's showing his life experience. That's good, Juan Pablo. You're on the right track, absolutely. Preeti says, SAFE is also using some quantitative language since 2007. So he's actually telling me for how long he has been able to drive a car. Absolutely. So that's great. And he's using the present perfect to show experience and achievement. Okay, remember, one of the reasons we use the present perfect in English is to show our achievement, right? Having a driver's license and being able to drive is something that we achieve. It's an ability or a skill that we achieve in life. And this question is kind of asking us, do we have the achievement of being able to drive a car? And it's clearly recognized and answered by SAFE. SAFE says, yes, I have had a Class 6 driver's license since 2007, and then I just gave a little bit more detail in there. And in fact, I truly enjoy operating a vehicle, okay? Just to paraphrase as well. All right? So that's what you need to do for those higher band scores, for those band 7, 8, 9. Show more than just yes, okay? This is not the listening section, so it's not just about understanding the question. It's not just comprehension. You have to show your English. Show your English. Okay? All right. Okay, students, let's go to the next question, and I will read more of your responses for the next question. Okay, so if I missed your question or your comment, don't worry. I'll get to different ones at different times. Just keep practicing and repeating, okay? Keep practicing and repeating. All right, here's the next question. How often do you ride the bus? Give me a nice full answer for that one, okay? How often do you ride the bus? Meanwhile, I'll jump back and read some more for the previous answers, okay? Sianu says, to be honest, I have never had an opportunity to learn how to drive. However, I will definitely learn this skill in the near future. That's the correct way, Sianu, to form that idea. All right, so for this question, Idris says, I often do ride the bus because I live in a crowded city, so I avoid traffic jams or being stuck in traffic jams. Sure. Idris, you need to be a little bit clearer, okay? Why does the bus provide you convenience in a crowded city, okay? Yes, I often do ride the bus because I'm living in a crowded city. I'm not exactly sure why you're riding the bus still. You have to tell me because it's faster than driving a car, or you avoid a lot of foot traffic. So you have to be a little bit more explanatory there, Idris, with that idea. Trang Nguyen says, it seems that locals prefer to use public transport such as bus, train, but I can't say the same for myself. I'm into taking private transport, so I never go on the bus. Whew, Trang, that is a long answer and it's a bit awkward. Trang Nguyen, a better way to give your response is answer the question first. So, and this is a very important tip for everybody who's watching. If you want to say that a lot of people ride the bus, you prefer to drive the car, so you never ride the bus, say that you never ride the bus first. Okay? So if the question is, how often do you ride the bus? Always answer the question first and then explain why, Trang. So, Trang, I'm going to take your answer, but I'll correct it. Okay? So I'll give it in a kind of a better way. I rarely ride the bus. Okay, so Trang, this is how I would do it to get a much better score. Instead of putting this at the end, I would put this at this idea at the beginning because I want to show the examiner before they interrupt me or jump to the next question that I can respond to the exact question quickly. So I rarely ride the bus because I prefer to drive my own vehicle, even though many people in my city do opt for public transport. The reason for this is I have air conditioning in my car and I can listen to my own tunes. Okay? So, without going way off topic, okay, because the examiner will interrupt you. If they feel like you're over speaking, you're going off topic, they will interrupt you. So it's very important that you answer the question first and foremost. So I rarely ride the bus because I prefer to drive my own vehicle, even though many people in my city do opt for public transport. Opt means choose. The reason for this, I have air conditioning in my car and I like to listen to my own tunes. Tunes, kind of a nice expression instead of music. Okay, so always answer the question first, even if you have a good idea of why after. Okay, so always respond directly to the question first, then explain and give details. Okay, it's a much better approach. The examiner will like that more. You will get a better score. All right, let me take a couple other people's answers for this one. So Hank Pham says, well, I would say that I travel by bus all the time because my grandma's house is about 10 kilometers away from mine, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on fuel and fixing my car. Hank, good. Okay, that's a nice full answer. Now, Hank, the one question as the examiner I would have in my mind is, why are you going to grandma's house all the time, right? So I would say, well, I would say that I travel by bus all the time because I visit my grandma frequently since she lives alone. It's about 10 kilometers away, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on fuel. Okay? So always think logically. Remember, you're talking to grandma or grandma or grandpa or grandma. Okay? Speak clearly. Okay? Vivek Shingala says, sir, is there any way to find these speaking notes from the live classes? It's a very good question, Vivek. Many of our notes that we tell in these live classes, they are on our websites in our premium course, in our interactive course laid out. And we will be doing a summary of all of these live classes in a separate workbook. So keep your eye out for that, Vivek. So we will do kind of like an instructional strategy and tip book for the IELTS exam that will include these live class notes. So it's a good question. Okay. Kesra Reza says, the bus at the bus stations near my home runs every 10-minute intervals, so I ride the bus every day to get to my workplace. Kesra, same advice that I just gave to Thong, I think. Say your answer first. So I ride the bus to work every day. The station's near my home, and it leaves every 10 minutes. Okay, that's a better way, Kesra. Okay. Yeah, Kyber, we will create that PDF. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, let's go to the next question. Here we go. Which is your favorite type of transportation? Why? Give me a nice answer for that. So, which is your favorite type of transportation? Why? Okay, full sentence. The examiner might not even say why if you give them the reason. Okay, and you should always include the reason. Juan Pablo says, my favorite kind of transportation is the subway because it's cheaper than taking a cab and faster than the bus. I can also avoid a lot of traffic. Juan Pablo, I agree with you 100%, and it's a great expression. I would give you a nice high band score for that. Easily a band 8, okay, as long as you're fluent. Ria Majumder says, I prefer the metro because it is cheap and fast. Okay, let's try that one more time. I prefer the metro because it is cheaper and faster than the other modes of transportation. The relative is cheaper. So Ria, remember, faster, cheaper. Okay, you need the ER on both of those. So faster, cheaper. Okay. All right. Ferdobbs says, as I mentioned before, my beloved carriage is my comfy car. The reason for this is not only that it has air conditioning, but it's also faster and better than riding the bus. Okay, Ferdobbs, that works. Yep. Carriage, interesting way to refer to your car, but it's doable. Okay, it's possible to do that. Haung says, the MRT is my first and best choice, not only because it's faster, but also cheaper. MRT, do you mean, Hung, the metro by that? I'm not familiar with that acronym. Okay. All right. My favorite mode of transportation is the bicycle because it's a kind of exercise so I can stay healthy and avoid heavy traffic at the same time. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that works. So don't forget about the bicycle. We always think of powered vehicles, but don't forget about manpower, those legs of ours and working our lungs and exercising. Yeah, that's great. Sure. Well, it may be surprising to learn that my favorite my number one choice when it comes to transportation is my trusty Schwinn bicycle. I can get great exercise on my way to work, as well as avoid the heavy rush hour traffic. Okay? All right. That is a great, it's like that, I guess. That is a great response. Yeah, the bicycle, sure. My number one choice when it comes to transportation is my trusty Schwinn bicycle. I can get great exercise on my way to work, as well as avoid the heavy rush hour traffic. Again, repeat after me one more time. So, My number one choice when it comes to transportation is my trusty Schwinn bicycle. I can get great exercise on my way to work as well as avoid the heavy rush hour traffic. Let's do a little bit more to secure our high band score. Like this morning, it only took me 15 minutes to get to this exam, as where it would have taken half an hour by car. All right. That is. Schwinn is just the name of a company, Shivjeet. That's why it's capital. It's a type of bicycle. They make good bicycles. Okay? This is answer, explanation, example, quantitative language, complex language with real condition when, okay? Using expressions like trusty, Schwinn bicycle, heavy rush hour traffic. It has all of the elements needed for the high band scores, okay? Answer, explain, example, quantitative language, complex language, all in one. Now all I need is fluency, pronunciation, and I will get a great score. All right? Okay, students. So, any questions so far about speaking part 1? Again, we'll take 2 minutes for some questions that you might have about the speaking exam, specifically speaking part 1. Okay. Shivjeet says, what if I don't know anything about a particular question? Shivjeet, that's unlikely. Okay, so Shivjeet is asking, what if I don't know something about a question? It's unlikely. So the questions in the IELTS speaking are designed so that a 16-year-old girl in Beijing should be able to answer them. A 55-year-old man in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as well as a 65-year-old man in Rio de Janeiro. So everybody basically should be able to give some kind of an answer. So you should be able to say, if you don't understand the question, you can ask for it to be repeated. So you can say, I didn't catch that question. Can you please repeat it? If you still don't know, ask to move to the next question. Say, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're asking me. Please, let's go to the next question. Okay. Ferdoos Schichter says, how long can I have to answer for part 1? Part 1 questions are short. The answers should be fairly short, just a couple of sentences. So answer, explain, example, Ferdoos, don't overspeak. Mr. Cooper says, what if the examiner is nervous? That is unlikely, Mr. Cooper. It'd be a very rare situation if you are the first person that they're examining. But you have to be confident. If the examiner is nervous, Mr. Cooper, you have to be even more confident so that they can feel that you're confident. Make them feel confident. Ash says, sir, won't these answers be too long for part 1? It depends on your fluency, Asha Prakash. So Asha Prakash is asking, aren't these too long? No, it's not. I mean, this is just still a couple of sentences. The examiner will let you finish these ideas, okay? They're clear ideas as long as you are fluent. So my number one choice when it comes to transportation is my trusty Schwinn bike. I can get great exercise on my way to work as well as avoid heavy rush hour traffic like this morning, saving 15 minutes. It's not too long. They'll let you finish that answer as long as it's targeted and clear. Kesra says, the IELTS examiner is a human, right? Things can happen to them. Yes, Kesra, they are. However, they are professionals, so they do a good job. They're well trained. It's an unlikely situation that something will be wrong with the examiner. So the most important, Kesra, is always just focus on yourself. Okay, students? So don't worry about the examiner. Don't worry if they're nervous or if they're angry or happy or really friendly. Just focus on yourself. You're there to get a good band score so that you can do university or get your visa or your immigration papers. So focus on yourself, okay? Ria Majumder says, I have a stammering problem. Is this a difficulty for the IELTS exam? Yes, it is, okay? So if you have a stuttering problem or a lisp or a stammering problem, these are called speech impediments, okay? If you have a speech impediment, please indicate that for the IELTS exam before you sit the exam. Otherwise, they don't know if it's part of your accent or it's because you're nervous or you don't have enough English skills. So there's a special place on your application form for the IELTS exam where if you have any kind of learning disability, then you need to check that box. I believe you have to provide a proof of your learning disability from a professional, like a doctor, and then they will take that into consideration, okay? So if you have a learning disability, such as dyslexia, or any type of speech impediment, make sure to indicate this on your IELTS application form. Okay, I believe that for some learning disabilities, they can even give you extra time, like in the reading section. So make sure that you indicate that, okay? Don't be shy about it. Just do what you have to, okay? All right. Sianu Thapa says, how many points does speaking part 1 have out of 3? It's kind of an overall, Sianu Thapa. So part 1 is more of just a warm-up. It's basically a full point, so it's a full third of your speaking mark. But your overall band score, Sianu, for the speaking is a comprehensive score. So they look at your performance in part 1, 2, and 3 together to give you your band score. Some students, if you're really nervous in part 1, you have trouble speaking, but then you do a really amazing job in part 3, you can still get a very high band score. Okay? All right. Okay, students, we will do more Q&A at another time. That is all for today. Here are 3 more questions you can try on your own. Where can you catch the nearest train in your area? How has public transportation changed in the past 100 years? When you ride a bicycle, what should you do to stay safe? 3 more questions. You can record those on your phone. Send them to me for a mark estimate. You can send them as an MP3, please, so I can listen directly from our email. And then I will tell you what kind of a band score you can expect, okay? So again, my email is adrian, my name, Adrian, at aehelp.com. Those questions, again, are these 3 here, okay? You can see that in the video later on. The video will be on the YouTube channel as well. This is our general IELTS website. You can check us out there, join the full course, click that red button, get our 100 hours of video lessons, fully interactive course, as well as 6 original practice tests. Here I'm in the academic. You can open these up and then you can see that there's lots and lots of different interactive courses and slides for you. You just have to keep opening those up and working through them. Students, do yourself a favor. To get a high band score, to save yourself stress, save yourself money in the long run, use our full courses. They will help you. And that's it for this class. Thank you for the great participation. You're very welcome, Kesra. You're very welcome, Sianu. Juan Pablo, if you want to do the academic one, make sure you go to aehelp.com. Okay, that's where the academic IELTS is. Haung, you're very, very welcome. You've been a great student these past several weeks. Regular participation is a great step towards success. Yasul Cho, you're very welcome as well. Have a great day, everybody. Keep up the practice, find speaking partners, and make sure to believe in yourself always. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.